Welcome to All Worn Out. I'm your host, Warren Meredith. On the show today, Mike Raymond. He's from the rock band Quiet Crimes, but he's also a guitar tech, a sound tech, a backline music tech, and so much more. He works with artists like City and Color, Silverstein, Alan Doyle, Blue Rodeo. Let's get into it now with Mike Raymond. Hi, everybody. Welcome to All Worn Out. It's a podcast about music. It's a podcast about what you're passionate about, and it's a podcast about what our guest is passionate about. We are very excited, lucky, fortunate. We have the very amazing Mike Raymond on the show today.
Jeez.
Welcome, Mike. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. That's such a fun intro and fun way to start.
Yeah.
Gets you right in the zone.
That's right.
Like
That's right. You're like, oh, expectations are high.
Yeah.
No.
Time to get into character.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, Mike, you've been a member and a pretty big member of the scene, if I might say so, for a number of years. And you're from the band Quiet Crimes. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, that is one of the bands.
How far back does Quiet Crimes go?
Not too far back. Quiet Crimes started in 2017.
Okay.
Then there was like a couple year, like when the pandemic hit, we kind of just like did nothing for a couple years. And yeah, we had recently been back to playing some shows. But yeah, started in 2017.
That's awesome. It's kind of when Taming Sorry started, around that time. It was like summer of 2017.
I think we played that Rebel Fest thing together.
I didn't get into it yet. I didn't get into Rebel Fest yet, but that was like within Ire and Lazy's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe
and
it was
Big Sugar was like the big band.
Okay,
that
yeah,
year.
that was like a year. That was like one of my inspiration years. So it was like right before I got back in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I was like looking on from the sidelines going, dang it, I want to get back on the stage. There's so many cool people doing cool stuff.
My bad. I thought.
Oh, no worries. No, because
it's all a blur after a while.
Oh, I know.
Which band was doing what?
And Rebel did become our home. Like, you know, for 4 years we got to listen to our music on Rebel. So always grateful and, you know, very cool experiences in the Ottawa music community. But what's amazing about you is you are trusted by musicians outside of the Ottawa music community.
Yeah, what a bunch of suckers.
And I mean, this must come from being very humble and experienced. Those are the only reasons I can see this happening, and people saying good things about you. That's how I imagine it happened.
Somehow, I'm assuming good and bad things are said, but yeah, people keep bringing me into these gigs, and I guess I've been messing around with instruments and stuff for long enough that, yeah, I have some cool people trusting me with some of their stuff.
Yeah, we're going to get into that more because there's a lot of cool Canadian artists who I think, you know, are inspirations to all of us, whether you're a musician or not. They're just incredible musicians. So I really want to get your take from the side of the stage. Because I always tell people my favorite place to watch the show from is the side of the stage. And I know you're not watching because I've watched guitar techs and I've seen them. They don't stop. At least the ones I've witnessed are pretty busy. But yeah, I love watching from the side of the stage and seeing what the artists are going through, what their planning is like. And I saw one of your comments about Alan Doyle's band being fantastic, and you were saying, like, I don't know if you can see this, but I can, and, like, they're amazing kind of deal.
Yeah. It's hard to see, like, sometimes just within one show, but after repeated shows, and you see them handle different things, and I mean, all the bands I've worked with, like, at that level are pretty great players and great musicians and great people.
Okay, so let's go back before Quiet Crimes. What was the band project back then?
Quiet Crimes had actually kind of morphed out of a way heavier band called Black Oak Decline. And that was like a screamy, like, just like a weird metal type band. And I started writing these other songs and like had showed them to the guys in Black Oak Decline. And we started playing those songs, and it kind of just like morphed into a whole separate band. And yeah, put out a couple EPs, played a bunch of shows.
It's really awesome. I like how it came from something harder like that, because you got a great voice, and your songs.
Thanks, man.
Your songs are really cool. Like, what was awesome for me is I always try and think in my head about like who the band makes me think of, and then I'll go read up about the band. So my first thought was like, when I was listening, I was like, oh, Queens of the Stone Age.
Definitely.
I was like, oh yeah. And then I go and read, and I'm like, Queens of the Stone. I'm like, okay, good. All right. I'm not out to lunch, you know? Like, sometimes I love hearing those references come through so nice and clear. And yeah, your music is, gosh, it's different. It's so different than what I make, but it's so cool. And that's what I love about music. It's both rock. We both make rock, but like rock is so diverse now.
There's such a vast ocean of like what rock can be.
Yeah.
But so, thanks, man. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah.
Absolutely. Was the dream or the aspiration ever with Quiet Crimes to go touring? Did you guys tour?
We did some small Canadian stuff, like over to the East Coast. But yeah, nothing. No, there was never any like big aspirations. Like even like Rebel playing us like every day for a while was like, wow, that's more than I ever thought. But yeah, no, I always kind of just like kept it as like, it's just a little like side hobby band thing.
Interesting. That's interesting because you guys always, in my opinion, you guys you play good opening gigs, you play good shows, you bring out a crowd. You know, a lot of bands be like, oh my God, how do they do that without like going crazy about it? But you know, I think you've just worked up the experience over time in how to ride the highs and the lows of this thing that we call music.
I also have a very like good inside view on the industry at like higher levels, and it might actually kind of be a turn off for me in some ways to just like
isn't it?
It's impossible to make a living off original music for most of us.
Yes.
But yeah, so and it's almost like a relief, like it relieved some pressure to just be like, no, this is just what I do on the side.
Yes, absolutely. I talked to a band today and they were saying, well, why can't we all just get along and kumbaya, support each other in the music community? And I was like, because I'm going to explain this to you. This is Warren's opinion of how shit works. So basically, some people, they invest like more than a house is worth in their musical career. They do like, they just invest in their career. And if you do that, it's the same as any business. If you invest in your business and then some new business in your line opens up and they're like, well, we're doing business. Why aren't we shooting to the top? And you're like, well, you haven't invested enough time, money, anything. You know what I mean? The sacrifice that these artists make, like you said, to get where they're going. Often the times it's not the big paycheck we think they're getting, or it's not the big money. That's not why they're doing it. And how often the story is that labels will get artists in debt so they work, and they can't stop working. So, I mean, there's that side of the industry, too, that can be shady.
Oh, yeah. It's very hard to break through to the top where you actually are making a living.
Yeah.
Off your own music. Like,
I know.
It's damn near impossible.
It's wild. It's wild. And I think a lot of people think certain bands are doing a lot better than they are, or they think certain artists are doing a lot better than they are. And I'll always just, you know, I'm not going to take that from a local angle. I'll take that from the worldwide angle. And that's like, you know, all the people who used to fudge the Cribs episodes. Now it's tons and tons and tons of celebrities with big money showing off rentals and car rentals and boat rentals just because that's the
all
image.
Those rap videos.
Right? It's a lot of BS, folks. Only a few people actually do really, really well.
That's funny.
But you're doing awesome because you're a part of the world. Like you said, you're getting insight into that next level. And for me, that's why I pushed really hard. I wanted some of that insight. And the more insight I get into it, the more I revel in the world, but also, like you said, appreciate. Maybe it was better that I didn't get that, or maybe it's better that I didn't blow up in this fashion or whatever it might be, you know, because sometimes the reality is just, it's not what's presented.
Yeah. It's a tough world out there in the music biz.
Yeah. So let's talk about some
I'm happy just tuning people's guitars for now.
Okay.
Sorry to cut you off.
No worries. Let's talk about that. I thought you were mad at me. I thought you were okay. No.
I could never.
Okay. Well, yeah, you do a lot of guitar work, right? In Ottawa, in the area, you sound tech, you do backline.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing all that for?
Oh man. Let's see. Well, repairing guitars I've been doing for probably 20 years. Just repairing friends' stuff and then getting new customers that just bring me their instruments. That's been a long going thing. I started doing sound a few years before the pandemic, probably also like 2017. And I was doing backline for festivals here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, one of the guys that would hire me for backline gigs got a call one day from Matt Mays' management, just saying like, we need a guitar tech. We're kind of stuck for this Ottawa gig. Do you know anybody local? And he suggested me. So they called me. I didn't even know really what a guitar tech did. I was like, okay, I guess like I'll just like hand them their guitars, whatever. So I reluctantly took it. I almost said no to this random gig. So I show up with like, just basic stuff, like a couple tuners and like whatever. And turns out like I learned on that gig really what a guitar tech did, which is a lot more than just like tuning a guitar and handing it to the person. You're setting up like all their gear, making sure everything works for them. They flew in last minute, so they didn't sound check. So I was like, it was kind of like just like dependent on me for their stuff to work when they stepped out on stage.
Oh, man.
And so not only was that my first guitar tech gig, but there's three guitarists in that band, but I was doing Matt Mays and Adam Baldwin, which they each have a guitar change every song. So most of the show I was coming out with two guitars, and it super like kept me on my toes. And basically that one first gig got me ready for like all the others that were to come.
When they're making those changes back and forth, is it mostly because the guitar, the song's in a different key? It's tuned differently?
Yeah, they capo like all over the place, and a lot of times it's just like, it's in a different key, so we need this guitar with the capo somewhere else, and 12 string for this one. And
it's okay, change the key, it's all right.
It's okay to capo.
That's right. It's okay. Play around. Have fun. Man, yeah. Well, I know you did the Bluesfest stuff, right? You did the Bluesfest stuff first.
Yeah, I would do like general backline for Jazz Fest and Bluesfest.
Okay.
And
cool.
That's kind of the world that got me into like real guitar teching for artists.
And did that start out as volunteering?
No, the backline people in those festivals get paid.
They know what they're doing, eh? That's a good thing to know. No, I figured that out when we played Bluesfest last year. I figured out that the sound guys knew what they were doing pretty fast.
Yeah, the real like the stage crews and like sound people and lighting and all that, they don't get volunteers for those.
Yeah,
for those positions.
You're actually the guy that I'm generally like cursing when I see you at the shows that I'm opening for, because it's like you're the guy locking the board and walking away with it, and then I'm like, damn it, I want that board. I want the good board. You know what I mean? And you're like, whatever I'm stuck with now, it ain't gonna be that. But that's the
name of the game,
right? And there's so many sound men are huge. I think a lot of people underestimate how big a sound man plays in a show,
Absolutely.
It's a big,
it can kind of like make or break how good the show is in a way. Like
absolutely does. Yeah. Reverb's a huge thing, folks. And like a lot of little things that, you just don't think about, then it's not there and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is missing.
And just the general balance. Like if somebody has not like bad ears, I don't want to say like, but if somebody's tastes are way off from what the general public wants to hear, or for what that band specifically is supposed to sound like.
Yeah, definitely. You have to have those tones coming through nice and clear, and everybody in their own lane. And I don't understand it really. As a vocalist, I was always just sort of like fighting the sound man. Like, I will put my voice on top of the mix. I will find a way. But it's like the guitarists who are really my enemies. The guitarists always turn up. I'm talking about early days in bands and how I feel my voice developed into the belter style. was putting myself constantly into these rock bands.
Really? You felt like you had to push it to get heard?
Early on especially. Not now, but early in the game when you're playing and you're just figuring things out about levels and that, and certain guitarists are cranking it, and then the sound man's trying to adjust for that guitarist because they're not listening, and on and on. And so as a vocalist, I actually became kind of good at that. But you're not supposed to. I don't think that's the normal route of becoming a decent rock vocalist.
I guess. But as a sound guy, I like a loud singer.
Yeah.
So it went well for you.
Thanks. I
your
know.
Voice rules, so
Thanks,
like it definitely worked out.
I like a Brass Monkey. Like they have like a setting for me that's like just set.
Really?
Yeah, because of so much compression, I guess, and that's
Nice.
that's either good or bad. But anyways,
Good. I like a lot of compression on vocals.
Yeah, and what's interesting for me, or what I love about the people that you're working with now, is I'll go back in time, and I was driving in my car, my first car. Was 1989 Mercury Topaz.
Oh, yeah.
It was an old car.
I love the Topaz.
Yeah, man. When my dad would drive it, he'd get pulled over for being a suspected drug dealer.
Holy
that's
Moses.
how smooth that car was. And when it hit like 120 kilometers, it would go 119, 120, 119.
man.
Like one of those babies.
That sounds like my Mercury. I have a big Cougar, 78 Cougar, and
man.
she shakes.
Hell yeah. And I love it. And I remember going to Tim Hortons to work in Emblem and blasting City in Color. Now, like the original, the early days when it was just out, it was fresh and it was new. People were like, what is this scissory song all about? What is going on? And I was like, I wasn't in music yet whatsoever. I was an artist by the way of being in plays, acting, things like that.
Nice.
But I was not a vocalist. I was not anywhere in music. And I just remembered this album really getting at me and being like, what is going on? And then I try and sing it. I try and sing it along with him. Early days, again, when I'm...
Some of that stuff is hard to sing, man.
Super hard.
It's a high key.
Yeah, man.
It's like a high...
I loved it. And I got attached to that music. And then, of course, when he did the Gord Downey stuff relatively quickly after that success, I loved all that stuff.
Yeah, Sleeping Sickness is one of my favorites.
Oh,
for sure.
yeah, man. It's
still get chills from side stage when they're playing that. Like after even like however many shows, like I don't know how many shows I've done with them, maybe like 60 to 70 at this point.
Wow.
But yeah, that song and a few other ones like Hello, I'm in Delaware and like a few of those songs, whoa, man.
Yes. If it was anything from the early days music that he released, I'd be crying. I mean, I was there, I remember at the Bell, I can't remember what it's called. It's in Toronto, outdoors at the Molson stage. And it was...
which is now Budweiser Stage.
Yes. And so
one of the best venues in this country, by the way.
Is it? For sound? Is it good to work? Yeah.
Just like... being there is always great.
Oh, it was amazing atmosphere-wise. Atmosphere was amazing. And I had taken
they had one of the best crews, too, working that venue.
I took my ex-girlfriend at the time. Well, she's my girlfriend at the time. But I took her to go see, his name, not City in Color. This was my way of getting... I took her to go see Dashboard Confessional. Oh, yeah. And I was like, and a trade-off is I get to see Dallas Green. And I want to see City in Color. You get to see... Dashboard. And because she was, those were some of the first songs I learned on guitar and like sang for somebody was Dashboard.
Nice.
And it's
Dashboard has some great stuff.
Oh yeah.
My favorite was Again I Go Unnoticed.
Yes. Oh yeah. Lyrically,
he's a good song.
Lyrically, he's incredible and like true, really good. And yeah, it was a great show actually all those years ago. And so to hear 60 to 70 shows. So let me ask you this.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Weird connection. One of the old guitar techs for City in Color is playing guitar in Dashboard right now.
See,
Kenny Bridges.
Cool. Smaller world in the music industry than...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no worries. So what did Dallas... 60 to 70 dates. How does he do this with his voice? Was he amazing with this? Does he just not talk unless he's on stage? Like,
he's actually just a machine. Mm-hmm. He brings it no matter what. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah. I believe it.
He's got it down, man. Like,
when I watched Crownlands from the side of the stage, I was like blown away by Cody doing the drums, but maintaining this high end vocal.
yeah,
Soft.
he's got a crazy voice too.
Right? Good delivery. And then when he ran backstage and because Kevin was doing a solo. So Cody runs backstage and he downs a beer. And then I'm like, that's awesome. But then after that, he starts huffing on something. I'm like, there's no way he's huffing a vape before going on stage and singing, because he sings like an angel. So I'm like, I'm not buying it. But because he went right back out and started singing like an angel. So I was like, what is this? And so he told me afterwards it was like essential oils for the throat.
Okay.
And like he's
Throat
like,
spray.
yeah, it just like lubricates everything, makes it nice. And I was like, I need that website. But I mean,
There's one, I forget what it's called, but it's called like singer's throat spray. Literally, like
yeah, exactly.
exactly
And,
that. It lubes up.
yeah, because I thought like, what is going on?
Kind of like coat throat tea.
Yeah.
That does a good job too.
When I'm in the studio, I just drink honey, lemon, ginger
Yeah.
tea with lots of honey in it, and that'll get me through my days. I mean, at the end of it, I'm like, I'm coated with something.
That lemon will like,
Oh yeah.
for some reason afterwards, it's like after effects, like this is not great.
But I
But
mean,
yeah, that's the old tried, tested, and true.
yeah, my buddy's releasing a song. Well, not my buddy, my someone who records with my producer is releasing a song through Dallas's. Does Dallas still run or own that record company? What's it called again?
Dynalo?
Yeah.
Well, he's like heavily affiliated. But
Yes.
I don't think, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, but I
I
remember
know Joel Carrier is like the main
Okay.
guy of the label.
Yeah. My buddy Gavin McLeod, or I have done a show with Gavin, so I'll call you my buddy Gavin. He's a good guy. And a funny story about Gavin. He's immensely talented, but if you go back in time and look at his YouTube videos, he's got like if you go back in time, you'll find out that Gavin was an incredible mini skateboard pro.
A mini, like a fingerboard.
Yes.
Wow.
And he turned this audience into his music audience, which for anyone,
What? Like
yes.
these people followed him for fingerboarding.
Yes.
And then just like,
He
all right,
transitioned.
now I'm a musician.
Yes. He
Damn, that's not
from
bad.
like as a kid.
That's hard. That's a hard feat to keep those people.
He's Yes, this is what people have to realize. It's not easy to do that. People like want what they want from their channels. Like they often aren't looking for
And
a
change, like
That's
a big
right.
change. Like people don't want that. Are
No.
you crazy?
They saw him as a little guy, being quite young, doing all this fingerboard stuff, and it was really cool. I watched the videos, and it was really cool. But then he becomes like a young teen, and he's like getting a guitar. And so you kind of see him falling into it more and more, and he's good. Gavin's awesome.
That's funny.
So it's just like, yeah. And so shout out to Gavin and him releasing a song with Dynalone. I think that's incredible.
Nice. That is incredible.
Yeah. And always been a dream of mine to somehow to work with Dallas in some way. That's why I'm so jealous of you. That's so incredible that you found a way to work with these people at this level and have them trust you. It's just so much kudos to you.
Thanks, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Dal is a great dude. Like,
I believe you.
it's like, yeah, very, very fortunate to be on that crew.
When I was in high school and I was a loser, wienery, wanker, doory, people were telling me about Alexis on Fire. And I was like, what's an Alexis on Fire? You mean like Alex is on fire? Like, what's that? And at that time, they were playing high schools. And I tell young bands, they were brilliant for doing this. They played high schools in Embrun, in Ottawa, in Russell Township, like, because they got the kids on their side. And before that, they had like Germany, I guess, right? Germany is the Alexis on Fire place of burst and like explosion.
Really?
Yeah, they first became like boom in Germany. And it's normal for bands from Canada to get their notice outside of the country. So like right now, all my friends in the industry are in England. Like they're all
Really?
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
So my producer with the Commoners, they're doing 40 dates with the Sheepdogs in England.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And they worked
lot of
hard for that. They did 60, 70 dates on their own first in the UK and
Wow.
in Europe, and first like figured out how to do it, then got on this bill. And yeah, the music is meticulously awesome. It's like Taming Sorry, but sorry guys, but it's a little bit more snooty than us. Like Taming Sorry is like dirty Southern rock, And the Commoners is more like refined Southern rock, and which I don't mind saying because they both have their greatness.
Oh yeah,
you know,
they both have their place for
yes,
sure.
Absolutely. And I'm proud of them. Like Ross helped me so much, help us develop our sound and key into it. So I'm definitely proud of them. And then you look at the Damn Truth; they're in England all the time. The Lazies.
Are they from Canada?
Yes, the Damn Truth are from Quebec, from the Montreal area.
Okay.
So they're not from Montreal. It's like a little city near Montreal, though.
I feel like they were also on that Rebel Fest.
They were.
Thing,
they had to have
Quiet
been.
Crimes.
Same with the Lazies.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's funny because I was talking to Leon and I was like telling Leon he has to go overseas, and then he did. So, damn you, Leon, I told you. But he got a great tour over there, Germany and whatnot, and.
Should be getting royalty checks from that.
Yeah. Come on, where's my 40 cents? I want it.
The 20% management fee.
Oh my God, right? I mean, gosh, the stories. Oh, well, I'll tell you a little story. So someone wanted to sign Taming Sorry. And this was funny because, this is never a good thing, folks. At least almost never.
It's always fishy.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was. And he was from Tucson, Arizona. So like I like
Tucson.
Yeah, I liked the place, and like he wanted us to play American gigs, and like I liked that. And he's like, I represent the Isley Brothers. I'm like, well, that's a little bit different than what we do,
Still.
So we took the contract to like 4 different lawyers, and they all circled the exact same things. So that's how you can quickly figure out with things. They were like, that's a bad clause. That's a bad clause, And so you always got to be aware, get your head up and look out, because the nightmare stories are definitely there.
Yeah, they're still out there.
Oh, yes. I mean, a lot of bands who are successful, unfortunately, are in debt. And that's the other thing. That's like I said, like bands who are like, oh, why does that band get everything? Then I hear the stories about that band. I'm like, they need it. You let that band have that frickin' show. They need that frickin' show. That's the reality.
There's a weird. Sorry.
No, go ahead. There's a weird
like mid-level where like bands seem like pretty big, but man, it's tough out there.
Yes, gas prices are insane. That's all people have to do is look at that and go, wow, how does anyone do this? Or
it takes a lot of gas to tour Canada,
right? Right.
Some big drives in between stops.
Because you were saying about Quiet Crimes, like you said, we did song touring, we went down east. It's like, well, in Europe, that means you went across the whole damn thing.
Yeah, man.
So
Europe, you're in a different country every day.
That's right. And that's why I really want to get over there, because it's like population density. You can go city to city and travel like an hour, 2 hours, and you'll get like big crowds because they got big crowds of people. I saw that you made hot sauce.
Oh, did you?
What is this? You made hot sauce?
That's so weird, sir, because I brought you a bottle of
Noisy
Kitchen. Jalapeno heaven.
What is this, folks?
That's just how prepared I am.
Oh my God, I love that little pepper on there.
Yeah, my buddy Nick did the artwork on these labels. He's an incredible artist. Nick OG. Can
people get this if they want it?
It's super like sought after tiny batches that I don't even tell people when I make some. And I just kind of like offer it randomly.
Oh, wow. I feel very privileged right now.
I mean,
thank you very
people keep
much.
asking me to like make it, but I don't have time. I used to supply like a few stores, a few restaurants, and sold a bunch.
Hell yes.
But I just can't these days. So I'll just make like a couple cases here and there and just like quietly like, yeah, man, here's a bottle of hot sauce.
Fuck yeah. I'm really excited to try this out, man.
That was not planned, folks.
Dude, I love it. And well, of course, but I mean, I just go down your Facebook profile. I go through the little things.
Yeah, fair enough.
I notice that people love your hot sauce. I noticed that. And I was like, I love it.
It was such a fluke thing.
Do you like the show Hot Ones?
Yeah.
Man.
I haven't watched it in a while now,
Same. But brilliant concept.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's like when John Ryu was on here and he brought a bottle of...
I love John. John's one of my good friends.
Oh, good Lord, what a party. And so he brought the Fireball and the Fireball whiskey for us. And oh my God, what a mistake.
I've been like watching my mouth the whole time, but I just realized like John was on here.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like,
don't worry. John had me like worried and like putting like bleeping out fuck and this and that. But then after that episode, I didn't care anymore. I realized
it was just too much work that you have to just let it go.
Exactly. You just go with it, you know?
Yeah, what a character.
Oh, God, what was my darn story about John now? Oh, it must have related to hot sauce. Oh yeah, so he brought the Fireball whiskey, and I said to him, "This must be the inspiration for Hot Ones. They must have thought about a show and said, okay, we'll do it with whiskey. You do a shot, I do a shot. You do a shot, I do a shot.
Yeah.
And by shot 10, you're fucked. And how are you going to answer them?" And then someone else said, "Yeah, but the alcoholic angle, YouTube, maybe that's not great. Is there a way we spin that?" And then some genius said hot sauce. I'm positive.
It does kind of like almost seem like a drinking game turned.
It totally is. You take a turn, and it just gets more and more messy. And yeah, I like it. But, I cannot wait. Jalapeno heaven. And, yeah. How did you get into making this? Like,
I randomly just tried to make hot sauce one day, and I realized, I made a lot. I wasn't even that into hot sauce. I just wanted to try, I tried making stuff.
Okay.
And so I worked at Zaphod's back then.
Hell yeah.
So I just brought a bunch of tiny little samples and I was giving them out to people, like regulars and staff. And people, like, when they were done, they just like, "Can I get more?" And I was like, "Well, I don't have more." And they're like, "Can you please make more?" So I just started making
Zaphod's?
it. I absolutely miss Zaphod's.
Me too. I miss Zaphod's.
Great little family of people there.
Right? I want to get Tom to come on the show, and Spag as well.
Yeah.
Those guys are from my memories forever, from Zaphod's, as are you. And, back in the day on Monday nights when I would go there to record a set, I'm just so grateful to Slow Tom, because it was so massive. Getting to record our set and be humble and realize how badly you suck at the end of the night is critical to advancing.
Having that reality check the next day
Massive.
is always helpful.
I loved it. And then going back and being like, we improved. We did a little bit better this time. It's still messy, but you can hear everything now in its place.
Yeah.
And like, that was the point of those recordings for me, it was not about like presenting it to people, but being able to go, everyone's in their lane. Everyone's where they're supposed to be. And now we can think about a video and, the next step. And he was always kind, God.
So was the nicest dude.
Right? I mean, I always thought like people would ask stupid things. I love sound men who are awesome and sound men who aren't nice to me. Damn you all. But anyways, I understand. It's a thankless job at times.
I get thanked a lot. I think it's kind of great.
That means you're good at your job.
People are super nice to me.
You're good at your job then. I
haven't found the bitter sound guy phase yet.
Good. That means a few things. One, people are nice to you, and it must mean you're in control of your life. I mean, unfortunately,
whoa, let's not go that far.
Right, I know, but some sound men, like musicians, sometimes we're a little bit wacky, and we're just angry because we've made some decisions in our lives that make us a little bit grumpy. And it's like, I get it. Once I talk to certain sound men, and they're like, "I've been clean for like 2 years, but before that, I partied like every fucking night." And I'm like, okay, that's why you're pissed off. I get it. I understand. Some soundmen just feel like bands are stupid, I think, and they've like learnt all this knowledge, and it's like they begrudge the fact that these people are like just expecting them to get that knowledge from them or something like that.
Yeah, it's tough, man. People are just different, like, some guys absolutely hate doing sound for like first timers. I absolutely love it. Like, this is your guys' first show. Like, as people, you've never played on stage before. Like, all right, here we go. And like, they have the best time.
Oh, that's amazing. See, you're the dream sound man, as far as I'm concerned. No, man, I've experienced all of them. I've been at the sound gig before where like I said, where they lock the board, they throw away the key. Another guy comes in, they don't give a shit. They don't want to be there. And then I'm like, "Yo, can I plug can you hook up this like wireless mic for me?" It's like super easy. You just, you plug it. It's a Sennheiser. And the guy's like, "No, I don't feel like it. Like, you're just the opener tonight. Maybe we'll just do like a wired." And I'm like, "Well, my stand spins." I'm like, "It spins like this. And like, it's a rotating propeller. And if I don't have if it has a wire, it doesn't work. And then everything gets wrapped around the cord.
And then we're decapitating people.
And I'm like,
and it's not good.
right? And I'm like, it's the Bronson Center or wherever it might be. And it's a big stage. I would like to have my wireless mic. So sometimes I've experienced that where I have to like really step up for myself and make sure that things happen a certain way.
Just super weird. Like I've experienced that myself just like last year, like getting flack from a sound guy because I had a DI with like samples. I'm like, what? Like, when did this become a problem? Like,
no, I know. And then you feel like
I've totally seen it. And as a sound guy, it just like fuels a little fire under me to like never be that guy. Like, why wouldn't you try to help the people do their thing?
I got a great story for you then. So I won't say what show, but this was an opening gig. It was a good gig. And the sound man was telling the opening band singer to sing louder. I went up and he was being honest. He was being serious with this kid. And I was like, okay, this guy is pissing me off now. And I just went up and I told the kid, I'm like, you sing exactly how you're singing. That guy has knobs and things. Like, don't listen to him. Like, I'm sorry, folks, but a vocalist is already doing their best to project their voice. And if they're not, then maybe they shouldn't be on stage. And I get that. But if I'm watching and someone is like, they're singing. They're not gonna crank their voice louder. Like I said before, that was me years ago trying to ramp my voice up over that mix and the sound man being like, yeah, sing louder. It's like, no.
Yeah, you unfortunately like don't really get to say that. You
I know.
kind of have to like, your job is to deal with what is presented to you, even if it's not ideal. You know, I've had plenty of super low singers with loud drummers right behind them.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
That's very frustrating.
It's not helping anybody to just be like, you need to sing louder.
No. And at Bluesfest, when my guitarist was too loud and he was in his own little world and the sound check and he was in his own little world. And when the guy said, could you turn down? Joe didn't respond right away. He just turned him off. And all of a sudden up comes the head real fast, right? So I've seen it where like good sound men know what they're doing. They keep us in check. They keep us in line. They want everything to be where it should be. And it was like the sound at Bluesfest was so nice.
Oh, yeah.
So perfect. And it's like, you know, Joe wasn't being bad or anything. He was just in his own zone and you didn't hear him. So like the sound man got his attention.
Happens.
And I was like, good. I like this. This guy cares. It's not that I don't want people to care. People got to care to get a good job done. It's just sometimes it feels like people don't care. And that's when it sucks.
A lot of times I find people don't care.
Yeah, and that's what sucks about music at the lower levels. And I think often that has to do with not getting paid fairly, or maybe going through that same routine all the time and not moving ahead, you know. That's what I think, maybe. And again, exposure is a real thing at these shows. Like when you get to open for a bigger band and you're not taking a big paycheck, it's true. You do get the chance to sell your merchandise to people that you never would otherwise get the chance to.
Yeah.
You do have to negotiate for your fair worth, but at a certain point.
And you still get to play that show.
That's right. Dude.
As a guy who like sometimes just wants to play, like,
oh, dude, but
like I get it.
You're
especially
pure of heart.
If you're trying to do it as like you're trying to just be in a band and that's the thing, then I get it. When guys like me come around, just like, oh, I don't care, $100 is cool, and I ruin it for everybody.
See, but there you go. That's music for you. Is that if you don't take the show because of money, somebody else will.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
so
they'll find somebody else,
right?
For sure,
right? And so that's why it's like that. And until you're the main draw, you don't get to have any like special, you know, say in it or whatever. And
it's true. We are not special until we are.
And even then,
whatever that means.
Hopefully we keep being humble. Hopefully we still have people like we'd have people talking about us the way you're talking about Dallas and saying he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's a monster vocalist and I like working with him. Hopefully you get to a level and that's the way people talk about you.
The key to that is just to be a great person. And like,
goodness. But that's hard.
Don't give people a choice, I guess.
Just joking. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, be cool with people and be patient as well, which has been big for me over the years as a ginger. Very hot-headed.
As a ginger.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. As gingers, I've never met a ginger
Really, eh?
who wasn't a hothead, and we'll go to war.
That?
Yeah, we will.
You know what?
It's true, man.
I'm seeing it.
Never met a ginger who wasn't able to go like that and switch on a dime. And it's something I've had to work at over the years being in bands, because bands don't like it when you switch on them. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And like we were doing the music video for Down with the Devil, and we were putting on the newspaper up on the walls. And I was like becoming Mr. Drill Sergeant, being like, get the paper up now. We're not going to get to do this music video on time if we don't do this or whatever.
Our budget, people.
Right? And at one point, they had to be like, shut up. Like, seriously, Ward, shut up. And sometimes we get to venues, and I'll be, again, my anxiety will kick into high gear. And I'll be walking around the venue going, we need to get our gear over here. We need to get everything going, the merch over there.
Oh,
and again, the guys come over to me, Warren, sit down, have a beer, and just be quiet for an hour.
Have a Quaalude and chill out.
Right? I've learned over the years that my anxiety isn't always my friend. It's hard to accept that, because on stage it is. When I'm on stage, it's like keeping me in check. It's keeping me in gear. And I'm able to ride my notes and do everything because that anxiety is there.
Yeah.
And I've learned to use it in a positive way. But when I'm not on stage, God, it's bad for me.
I find a little bit of nerves is good.
Yes.
Like,
oh, yeah.
A little bit of
you
nerves
sharp.
can keep you focused.
Yes. You should have a little bit of like, I want to do well, and I want to hit my marks, and I want to do these things, you know? When you watch like Taylor Swift now, because I'm sure you do all the time, but when
I love Taylor Swift.
I knew it. So when you watch Taylor Swift or one of these big Super Bowl level event shows, do you have like a big appreciation for what's going on at that level of performance, like tech wise now?
Yeah, man. Some of those productions are so huge, and like we don't even realize it. I saw just a photo from a Billie Eilish concert recently that was just showing the light setup. And I'm not a lighting guy. I'm not that I'm no pro, but right away I saw like, oh my God, the amount of setup involved in that. And some of those stages are crazy.
They're insane. Just the crews alone that do the stages are insane to me. Because I worked on a small TV show. Well, I've worked on a few, but one of the small TV shows I worked on, we had to bring out road grills, like full-size road grills to go around like this. And those things were heavy. And then we had to put out like 150 rubber interlocking mats. And then we had to assemble a fake kitchen on top of those rubber mats. So sometimes we'd show up to locations at 3:30 in the morning so that we could start rolling at 6:37. You know what I mean? Like,
those cases are so heavy that hold all that stuff. Like,
God, it was brutal, man. And we were driving cube vans, and a lot of us were like under 25, so not properly insured on these things. But I mean, that's Ottawa TV for you folks. It was, get her going, get it done, and we did. We were a damn good team. And again, you learn things. You get humbled by the scale of these productions and what all the work involved that you get to see. And I realized, like, when I was working on Canadian Idol, and it was like, I was like, this is a long time ago. And I was like, I'm just like a little tiny speck in this operation. Like, I'm thrilled. I get my per diem, which was like, woohoo! What's this? I get money at lunch.
Like extra money? Just
okay. I'm going to go eat from that free food over there, but sure. And seeing Ben Mulrooney watch Blue Lagoon every day and being more concerned with that on MTV.
Every day.
Yeah, man, he was obsessed with that TV show. And like his wardrobe people and this and that. And it was funny to get to see that. And again, you get more appreciation for the size and the scale of what's going on.
Yeah.
Have you ever messed up and been like given the guitar and then they plucked the wrong note?
I mean,
that you're willing to admit to?
Nothing that I'm willing to admit to. Nothing big.
Good, good.
Oh, there is one, but
Oh, there was one time where you made like
I
a
swore
boo-boo.
I'd never talk about it.
Oh, see, yeah, but I understand why.
No, I mean, I can't.
That's good. That's amazing.
Nothing that really, ever like.
Because you have to
affected
restring,
anything.
right? Like they must snap strings. They must.
Not a lot of broken strings during shows, but usually restringing before shows.
Okay, all right. And I
But
mean,
yeah, I've never had. Oh, I've had one way back in the day, like a string break, and you just like hand them the backup, change the string for the next song, and have it back out. But
so
it wasn't very dramatic.
oh, that's too bad.
Yeah,
What's it like working with Alan Doyle?
it's a good dude.
Yeah,
He's a good East Coast, like, I don't know.
he's a legend in Canada. I mean, that's a great artist in the area who people really look up to. And how many times have you? I saw didn't you do a show with them in London, England?
Yeah, ironically, it was Canada Day in England. It was and it was June 31st. It wasn't July 1st. Just the whole thing was questionable. But it was a wicked show.
Yeah.
Trafalgar Square, which is like a legendary place, like the Beatles play there and stuff.
Oh my God.
But, yeah, it was Canada Day in London on June 31st.
Wow.
And there was some Tokyo Police Club, Alan Doyle, and a few Canadian artists.
How long did you get to stay in London for that?
Just 2 days.
That's amazing.
Had 1 day off in London, and then 1 show day, and fly back out.
Hell yeah. Any other trips like that with Alan Doyle?
No, with Alan, it's mostly been in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
City and Color, though, we're hitting up a lot of places. We did some South America, Chile and Brazil. Did a bunch of US this year. Going to Mexico in November, Australia in January. And yeah, dude is busy.
Heck yes, man. Those are some fantastic locations.
Yeah. South America, Brazil was incredible. We stayed on Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, and it was just how did I get here from tuning guitars? I'll take it.
By being overqualified, man. By being a nice dude and being overqualified. And I mean, heck, why not? I love it.
Something lined up. Some kind of stars lined up for me.
I like it. And I mean, Mexico, heck yes. I just asked Matt Rogue if he wanted to get together and do a jam not long ago. And he was like, dude, I'm with Dallas Alexander right now, and we're in Texas. And then tomorrow we're going to be in Mexico. And I was like, that's amazing. I love it.
We were jamming with him a few times for Quiet Crimes before finding our newer drummer. And yeah, he was getting busy with the country gigs. So I kind of
I know.
Which is understandable. That's why I barely make my own music anymore. I'm always out and about.
But you need to. I
know.
I listen to your music and I really enjoy it. I mean, what's the most recent release?
The most recent stuff is Edison Rupert, which is an alias thing where it's kind of just softer, acoustic-y, not necessarily acoustic-y, but it's kind of indie rock, folk rock kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's the most recent stuff I've put out musically.
Okay. And
Quiet Crimes, I haven't put a song out in a couple years by this point, I think.
Now, I saw with Quiet Crimes, you recently lost a member.
Yeah.
For real, folks, not lost a member, but this person passed away. And I just wanted to say my sincerest condolences to you and in the fact that must be brutal. It's got to be brutal.
It's highly weird. It's super messed. Yeah, our drummer, Marty, suffered a heart attack kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And died October 5th. And yeah, so that's messed.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, it's the whole we have a whole group of friends that all know each other, and we're all just what the hell? But yeah, it's a weird one, man.
We're middle-aged now. This is the thing I'm trying to tell myself, but
Yeah, we got to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that too because I'm so bad at it. I'm not.
Yeah, same, man.
I'm not good. I'm not a gym guy or anything like that. And I got people telling me, well, you gotta do something. You gotta do something. I'm like, I know. I'm approaching that number where I know I have to. And, yeah, but I'm really sorry to hear that. And I hope
man.
you guys are able to, write with Quiet Crimes again and release in his honor. And, you know, I think you will, man. Like I said, that's good music. That's good rock music that Quiet Crimes is putting out. And
Thanks.
the solo stuff or the softer stuff that you're putting out also really beautiful. And so I think you have to make sure you keep doing it.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the middle of like a huge move right now. I'm moving like everything, like my workshops and my studio and where I live. So like half of it's in storage and it's just a huge mess. But once I settle back down, and I have a place that I'm buying, it's just taking a while. But once I have my studio set up, I think I'm going to start hitting some writing.
Yes.
Pretty hard again.
Congratulations,
It's been a
by the
while.
way.
Thanks, man.
That's a really great thing for a musician to say, that they're going to have a place. To me, it's just a huge thing.
Yeah, I'm actually like moving into a commercial space. So I'm
Oh,
going to have
yeah.
a huge repair shop, like a little more legit under my corporation number and everything. And it's like going a little more full out with the repairs, and my studio is going to be there.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
I really like that. So Silverstein, what were they like when you were teching for them?
Oh man, they were great. I only did one show with them,
Mhm.
Bluesfest.
Yep.
I think they were also just like stuck for a guy. Sometimes like it's a super small world of guitar techs
Yep.
in North America,
Mhm.
Canada especially. And like guys bounce around from gig to gig, and sometimes people call and you're already booked on something else. So I just got this call to fill in. And yeah, it was great, man. They were awesome.
Very cool.
Hoping I can do more with them in the future.
And I love the picture of the Blue Rodeo guitars because that you have.
Oh yeah, at the NAC where it's just a bunch of guitars lined up.
How many
Whatever.
guitars was that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably
Looked
not
like
even all of
20.
them. That's probably like only what I could fit in the frame.
There was like 20 of them at least.
But there's 3 guys who play guitar in that band.
How do you sort?
Same with City and Color.
How do you know whose guitar is whose guitar? You just learn over time?
You just know. Yeah.
Okay. So there's no labeling them. There's no marking them with pieces of different colored tape or anything.
You
eh?
gotta know which guitar, what tuning.
Yeah, I'm out right there. A lot of people right there are like, what? I gotta know whose guitar. I'd be bringing out
Oh,
the
yeah.
wrong one.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Like, people bringing out like the other dude's guitar. Like,
yeah.
that's the wrong Les Paul. I'm like, oh shit.
I could totally
Wow.
see that happening. For me, I'm too scatterbrained. That's what.
No,
that's.
I can't like.
So you know, like this. These are their guitars. Theirs. This is theirs.
Oh yeah.
I
And
mean,
I'm a psycho for like making sure on certain stuff.
right. Double check, triple check, dummy
Yeah.
check.
I would never bring the wrong guitar. I don't think.
Oh man.
But
See,
knock on wood.
no, but you're my type of band member because I've had guitarists leave guitars behind. I've had all kinds of
I've had those band members as well.
wild things, and you're just like, come on, I don't want to drive back to Kingston to get your silver
Oh my
guitar
god.
or whatever
No.
it might be. You know, it's just like, no, thank you.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, and dummy check. That's what we did in TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we're done checking.
Always check at
Go
least
again.
for your own stuff. Like, do I
Yes.
have all my things?
Yes. And that's an ongoing thing for musicians. Is we've always got a bajillion things. Except for me, I'm a singer, so I don't
Yeah.
have a million things. I've just got like a handful of things. And
But just that ego, like, is a lot of weight.
I'm a
drama queen.
It's
Big-
true, man.
Big package on its own.
Oh yeah, man, we're bad, but guitarists, they level us out. It's okay. They come along with their ideas of grandeur and oh my goodness.
What if you sang this?
Yes. Well, and they're always just like my guitarists have always been the most dramatic of the band in a way. Like
Oh,
they,
really?
yeah. Well, they thought that when we were in North Bay playing a show, they thought that it was haunted, and so they were like,
Oh, geez.
oh yeah, they were like, this place is haunted. I don't want to go in there. It's not feeling good to me. Someone got murdered in there. And I'm like, come on. And then the other guitarist is like, I feel it too. I feel it as well.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, the both of you get out of
Mob
here.
mentality.
Yeah, like go. The two of you are in your own world.
That's
like I
hilarious.
can't enter. But yes, you're right. Singers, we do have our egos, which is why it's funny when frontmen meet frontmen. It's always a great thing to watch, because you'll find out really fast if somebody has an ego, or if there's going to be any drama but in the night. Like you'll find out
You
really
sniff
fast.
it out right there.
Oh yeah,
That's
like,
a podcast name right there. Frontmen meeting frontmen.
it's happened where I've met somebody and I pissed them off in the first 30 seconds of a conversation, you know, and it was like, oh, whoopsie, I didn't mean to do that. And because we were talking, sometimes you talk business with bands, and I started talking business, and I shouldn't have. You know, it wasn't the time or place. You know what I mean? But now me and him are tight. We're close, and
You can't please everyone all the time.
hell no, I make mistakes a lot. So yeah, just the way it is. I saw like a while ago you opened for the Jailbirds with Quiet Crimes.
Yeah,
Back April 19th. They're
yeah.
great guys. They're great.
They were super fun.
Yeah, and I keep telling people watch out for them, because their lead vocalist and guitarist, now he's working with Monster Truck guy John Harvey.
Nice.
And they're
Is that
Mike? Yeah, they're in an
Penny?
exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly right. Mike Penny is with John Harvey now in a new project, and
Very cool.
yeah, they've been doing some great shows. And like I told people, what I've been telling people is like, Mike Penny's voice is legit, like super, super legit. And his guitar playing is great. It's fantastic. So it's just a matter of time. And now that he's with like the right person, in my opinion, with the right connections, I think,
Man, that's
gonna come.
what makes all the difference. Is having the right person behind you. Like,
yeah,
really.
and it can take a really long time, and sometimes it never happens. But anytime my band made a step forward, it was somebody sticking their neck out for us in some capacity, saying like, oh, no, give them a chance. Like, no, let them. Like, I've seen it, let them, or I've heard them. And if nobody sticks their neck out for you, it's really hard in our scene and
manage this whole industry.
Right?
It has to be vetted by someone.
Bingo.
Like, is the reality.
Yeah. If you're not vetted, that it's very hard to advance. And gosh, that's what I loved about working with people in the industry. Like, I love releasing music. You like releasing music?
I wish I did more, because I only release like 10% of what I do. I like doing it,
Yeah.
but for some reason I just constantly like right before it's fully done, I just stop caring. It's really bad.
Well, better
It
for your
sounds
pocketbook.
so
though.
lame.
I hear
Well, I
you.
record all my own stuff, so there's no excuse. Like, everything I've put out has cost me nothing.
I love the planning of the release, and then the lead up to it.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that.
I like it. It's like chess. And then I like how seeing what will come from it, and like what are the reactions. And I always say, you know, it's a marriage, and we're all having, the music is the sex. And if the sex is good, then the songs are great. And then those little songs grow up into little song babies.
Little babies.
And they have song lives, which is weird, because I didn't realize this till
Pretty
like
good.
many years ago, when I released a song about a girl and I used her name, which I'll never do again.
Oh man, her real name.
Yeah, I'll never do it again.
Can't do that.
And so since then, back then I had people from the high school coming up to me, and I was graduated like 4 or 5 years out already. And these kids are coming up to me like, I know that girl.
Oh no.
That's an amazing song. Like, that's exactly, I know what you're talking about. And I was like,
I see it too, man.
uh-oh. Maybe didn't realize that songs really
Boy.
do get listened to. They really do take on a life of their own. Even if you think it's in a small dome in its own little bubble world, it will still take on a life of its own.
Especially something specific like that.
Yes. So
The verse mentions her address, and like the chorus is her email.
I wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough, right? You just say the person's name, and then I, that was enough.
Yeah.
But I might have also alluded to her being crazy in the song, which may or may not have been the nicest thing to do. But hey,
It was that type of song.
it's music,
I know the one.
right? Hey, if the
I've been
Beaches
there.
can blame Brett I could do whatever I want.
Seriously, that turned into a massive song.
Right?
It's so catchy. What a tune, man.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. It's all girls in rock today. That's where you got to be at.
Girls are kicking ass.
They are taking charge. They're killing it, and it's their time to make rock shine. And I love it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, man.
Anytime that rock shines, I'm for it. I don't care who is doing it.
Me too. I agree. It's
I don't care if it's Machine Gun Kelly playing guitar and everybody hates him. He's playing guitar, and that's good in my books.
Oh, you're such a good guy.
Even if he's pretending.
You're such a good guy.
Even if he's pretending to play a giant razor blade guitar, that's still just one little point for the whole guitar industry, and I'll take it.
I give him kudos because he understands that it's the hype that got him paid and the hype that got him what he needed to be. Like, yeah, challenging Eminem was really stupid, except it also got him.
He knew what he was doing.
Bingo! And, so it's like, yeah. Business-wise, I respect the dude. Musically, I've never fallen in love with him. Post Malone, when he first came out.
I don't even think I've heard a single song.
Right?
From either of those guys.
So when Post Malone came out, I was like kind of thinking the same way about him and Machine Gun Kelly, but then I listened to Post songs, and some of his songs got me. Some of his songs hooked me, roped me in, and I was like, oh, now I see it. I get it. But MGK's never done that to me yet. Not that he won't. I love it. If any artist ropes me in, then that's it. I'll openly say I love them. It's like, why?
If it's good, it's good.
Yeah,
right?
Since day one, I've been like, yeah, I like Justin Bieber. I don't care. Like
Justin Bieber's fantastic.
He's written songs that pulled me in, that made me go, ooh, I like this song.
Like, I mean, not so much his like baby, like when he was 14 songs, but like the more recent Justin Bieber stuff, I find pretty damn great.
Yep. It's like Billie Eilish. It's stuff that's like produced at a really high level with a lot of thought and a lot of artistry put into it. It's like, how can you not have an appreciation for it if you're trying to create yourself? So
Billie Eilish is great.
Yeah,
for sure.
What's next? What's coming up next for you?
What is coming up next for me? I think I'm going to go home, grab a beer. I don't know.
That's a good plan.
What am I doing next? I'm doing a bunch of sound gigs, fixing a bunch of people's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hot sauce in the near future, but
I got it. Got it.
Going back on tour in, what are we? The 16th? In 11 days. Going back out with City and Color to the States, then Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lot of the same old.
Dude.
Touring.
If that's the same old.
Fixing stuff.
You're a lucky dude. I love it. I think
Thanks, man.
That's really awesome that you found like a home there where you're getting appreciated and you're getting to live part of the dream. And that's what it's all about. You're being part of an artistic project at the highest level. And that's something that's amazing.
It's great. I feel like I'm just kind of like along for somebody's ride. And I'm just like super grateful to get to be there.
Yeah, and you're learning things, I know you're humble, so that you're looking at it the right way, and that's I appreciate that. But at the same time, you're learning lessons. You're taking on things, right, that will help you. And
definitely.
When will Quiet Crimes? They're going to release new music. You're going to record new music.
I'd like to release some stuff in the new year.
Okay.
Once I get settled in my new place and get my recording set up back in action.
Okay. All right. I wish I could say I'm going to hold you to it, but I'm not going to be able to do that.
We'll see how busy it gets.
Exactly, right? Like, you're a busy guy, so it will be what it is. But I love seeing Quiet Crimes doing shows. I'd love to hear some new music, even if it's what's your solo project again called?
The solo project, I go by the alias Edison Rupert.
Check out Edison Rupert.
It's just a random thing I came up with one day, and here we are a few years later.
Check out the links below. Go check out some music. If you see City and Color in concert, look out for this guy.
Wave. On stage left.
Yeah. Don't approach him, but just wave.
It's fair. Don't ask me for a set list or picks.
He's not letting you backstage. None of that nonsense, unless you're his mom, and then that's a different story, right? But
she gets access everywhere.
Is Reverence Audio, are you recording other bands right now?
I haven't recorded in a while. Since the pandemic, really. My last project was before the pandemic. Then I kind of just like the studio ended up being like just my own lair. And I kind of really enjoyed that. Like my recording setup was just always there, like mics on everything. And like, because when you record a band, you have to take all that down and set up their stuff. So it's kind of nice. Just like, wow. But yeah, I think I'm like certain projects I might take on for recording, but it's really not a priority. Reverence Audio also like had become the pedal thing where I was making like vintage style fuzz boxes for people and treble boosters and like vintage effects.
Will you still do that?
Yeah, that's a thing. Once I get set up in my new shop again, I'll start making pedals again.
That's awesome. Okay, links below, folks. Check it out. Thank you so much to Mike Raymond today for coming on All Worn Out. I had a great time.
Thanks so much for having me, dude. This is great.
Yes. And thank you out there for watching. And we're going to see you all next time on All Worn Out. Bye-bye, everybody.